And you can just hit the OK button, or got it, little blue button that says it's connecting live. All right. Hey, everybody. How are you today? And welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton Live.
Hello, hello.
My name is Ryan T. Husk, and of course, we are doing a review of Star Trek Prodigy, the entire season 2, but especially episodes 11 through 15 today. Let's just get right to it. We have a very, very special guest. We're extremely honored and excited to talk with Mr. Robert Beltran. How are you today, Robert?
Very good.
A
Very good.
curtsy.
Always good to be with you guys.
So good
Oh,
having you.
finger snaps around the world.
Mm-hmm. So, everybody at home, looks like they are seeing us. The live chat is loud and clear. Boy, Robert, you know, the second we mention one time that you're going to be joining us, everybody starts buzzing. You know, some of those people, you know that some of them, they're good friends of ours. They kind of start buzzing. They say, when's Robert coming on? When's Robert coming on? So, to all of
Yeah.
them, we say hello and thank you. But
Yeah. A lot of them have become my friends. We're good friends.
good people.
And
Can we
before we
just
get
get into
started,
it?
can I just
Yes.
say how much, we love having you on too. You're one of my favorite people to talk to. Uh, you're just so cool, so smart, and and I love hearing your voice on this show. It's comforting, it's soothing. It gives me like, I don't know, it makes me feel like I have a friend on that in that on screen. So there's a very soothing, comforting thing to hearing your voice in this show, which we'll get into. But I just wanted to let you know that you're one of my favorite people to talk to.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
really love
Mhm.
you,
Thanks,
brother.
Eric. I
Yeah.
love being with you guys. It's so easy, nice and easy, and always fun.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Everybody in the live chat, let us know if you agree with Siroc's assessment that it was wonderful hearing Robert Beltran's voice in Prodigy. I've often said Robert has the smoothest voice of any Star Trek actor. So I second what Siroc said. As soon as we got to hear you,
Yeah.
man, it was good stuff. But let's get into that. Everybody, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for notifications. If you're listening in, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. We'd really appreciate it. So, Robert,
Yes,
um,
sir.
can you walk us through this? It was probably somewhere around 2021 or like a long time ago when you were first approached to reprise the Commander Chakotay role. Can you tell us kind of how that went about, please?
Yeah. My agent emailed me. Are you interested in doing this? And it didn't have a title, or they weren't giving us the title of the project. It was just called Captain Video. And I said, what the hell is Captain Video? And she said, well, that's just the working title. It's called Star Trek Prodigy, and they're interested in you. And I said, well, yeah, sure. Let me read it. Let me read it. And so I read it, and I was honestly, you guys, I was thinking the whole time I was reading it, why weren't these guys around during Voyager?
Yes.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Uh, it was it was obvious that the quality was there. Great writing, great characters, and then it was just a matter of what the animation was going to look like. And when I accepted the role, they sent me these pictures of what Chakotay was going to look like, and I had right of refusal, right? Um, so the first one they sent me, he had a big old jaw. Like I said, oh,
Like
so
Popeye?
I'm playing Dudley Do Right, and
it,
not
it was
Chakotay.
Jay Leno. It was the Jay Leno of Chakotay.
And so we went through that a couple of times, and then they said, I'm so glad that I had right of refusal. Not that they wouldn't have fixed it eventually, but they wanted my input, and so I was happy to give it. And the what they see now is what we agreed on. And then see, my character came on, I think, like in the latter part of the first season, maybe the last episode or the last two.
Mm-hmm.
It was just and
Yeah.
so I went to the studio to record, and they had 7 episodes for me to record right off. But I think when I was recording, they were only like in their second or third episode of the first season. So I did those 7, and they said, we'll get back to you. We want you, you know, we're excited for you to have the character and you on the show, and we'll get back to you. We'll call you again because we have some great stuff in store for Chakotay. And I said, well, good, great. But it was a while before I heard from them again. And then, you know, we just started adding more and more episodes. I don't know how many I did, actually, maybe 12. I'm not sure.
It's quite a few.
Yeah.
It was quite a few.
And so the recording sessions themselves were a lot of fun. Kevin was always there, and Brooks,
Dan,
Brooke
Chalmers,
yeah,
yeah,
both great fun and very easy to work with. And they would say things like, "Okay, Robert, in this scene, we just need you to say something like, 'Don't worry, Janeway, I'll never leave you.'" I was like, "Okay." So, and go. And I said, "Don't worry, Janeway, I'll never leave you." Give it to us again. Just give us like 5 or 6 in a row. 5 or 6 in a row, okay? "Don't worry, Janeway, I'll never leave you. Don't 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 worry, Janeway, I'll never leave you." Like 5 or 6.
It's nuts that all of those were good. It's funny because I thought the first one, I was like, oh, the first one's really good. So the rest will probably be like, and then the second one was good. And all of those, I was like, wow, those are all usable.
So yeah, so that happened a lot. And I liked the process, especially when you were given the chance to do 5 or 6 or 7 in a row. It was great. You could really explore the possibilities, you know.
Did you ever think that all these years later that you would be essentially, you know, reassembling your old castmates with, you know, just on an animated show? I mean, that's you got Robert Picardo on this show, you know.
Yeah, no, it never entered my mind. I think I heard that Kate was doing a new animated series, you know, Star Trek Prodigy, and I thought, oh, that's great, animated series of not Voyager, but you know, Kate and this thing called Prodigy. And then they called me, and then I don't know if they called Picardo after me or how what the sequence was, but you know, it was great to be able to revisit the character, and especially with the good writing. And but honestly, no, I thought when we left back in 2001, I was finished for good with Voyager.
But see, you did touch upon the writing, and I think that, you know, not to put myself in your position, but if no matter what it's called, if it's called Star Trek anything, doesn't necessarily mean you would jump on it, I'm guessing. But when you see the writing, you know, that makes you interested. But the writing, as you mentioned, is phenomenal. It's shockingly good. It's exciting. It's riveting. I don't know if you've gotten to actually see the finished product yet. The the scoring is unbelievable. The voice acting, by the way, can I just
The
say,
music is great.
Robert,
I do like the music. I do like the music
it's
a lot.
unbelievable. Can I
Yeah.
just say that before I even saw any of season two, the people that watch it like at midnight on July 1st, that first came out, everybody was saying the same thing. Oh my God, the best voice acting in the history of anything is done by Robert Beltran in season two. I swear, it happened so much. And I can't help but obviously agree with them. You nailed this. This was just
Yeah.
such good work. But what was it about the
Thank you and
writing?
them.
What was it about the writing that you really enjoyed or really pulled you to it?
Well, I think they took the Chakotay Voyager and found something, a nugget in that character that I created on Voyager, and found other aspects of the character to that that work. The Voyager Chakotay is like or I should say, the Prodigy Chakotay is like a natural blooming of the Voyager Chakotay. So they really found it. I didn't feel like I was doing anything unusual or that didn't work or that I was against. Um, I had no criticism of their writing for the role at all. In fact, I really admired what they were doing with the character. Unlike another show, which I did turn down because I didn't like what they wanted to do with Chakotay. And I'm glad now that I really did that, because the Voyager Chakotay and the Prodigy Chakotay, I think, has a nice arc to it. It's seamless, I think.
Mm.
And if I had done the other one, there would be this like a big wart on Chakotay's head. It's like that big.
Can I say that I want to also compliment you in a different way, and this compliment also extends to uh, Kate Mulgrew, who's doing a fantastic job on this show.
Yes.
Um, but this is the compliment. The compliment is your characters alongside these children
Yeah.
brings out a certain element of, I can't say what it is, but just it emphasizes you as leaders and as role models to these children. And I think that's what makes it so authentic to me when I watch it. I feel like you are looking at it as a parent. There's a parenthetical leadership that is coming from your characters
Yeah.
when you're placed opposite these children. And I just wanted to say that to me also strengthens the Chakotay that I'm seeing, and also the Captain Janeway or Admiral Janeway.
Yeah, I think you're right, Cirroc. And that's what I mean. It's like a natural evolution that happened with the character and with Janeway. We were so ready for this adventure with these kids. And what was necessary is that they learn and that we take them under our wing and teach them, because and help them find maybe their aspects of their character that they weren't aware of, or were maybe shy about. And so I agree that it gave me a chance to be, at times on Voyager, it was sort of touched on with Ensign Kim, um, but Ensign Kim was a little bit more experienced and mature than the characters on Prodigy. So it was like, all your nieces and nephews really relying on you to help them out through this. And then it turned, it was the other way around too. They were heroic, and saved
Yeah.
Chakotay also.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah, there's a
Robert, we've got a
line in it.
question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cirroc.
Yeah, there's a line that Dal says to you. Is this how Starfleet trains captains to be broken old men who give up when things get tough? And that was like them shaking you up, like, hey, get out of this funk
Yeah.
and show us how to be a leader, because we have this faith in you and who you are and your character. And I believe that you came back and reciprocated that confidence boost back to Dal when you tell him that you might one day be a captain. It's you have it in you, and so
Yeah.
that is the kind of leadership that I think is well exemplified on this show, and that's why it's so well written, because it's a kids show that is good for adults to watch. I don't know what
Totally.
else to say.
It's a family show.
It transcends a kids show, So
Yeah,
it's for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
For
I call it
everybody.
a family show. It's
It's a
for
family
family show, yeah.
it's a Star Trek show that you can enjoy with the whole family, with the kids.
Yeah,
It's really good.
yeah.
It's just better than I ever expected. I was very pleased. I'm loving it. Here's a question from the live chat. It's Tara P, who says, this is a juicy one. I like it a lot. She says, did Robert and Kate talk about Prodigy outside of recording?
I refuse to divulge any of our. No,
That's a
actually,
good time.
no. Well, just messages through Brooke and the Hegman brothers. They would say, "Hey, by the way, Robert, Kate says hello and blah 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 and blah blah blah," and I would say, "Well, tell Kate that I said blah 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 and blah blah blah." So we did communicate with each other that way, but not one on one or no, we never spoke to each other. When you're doing those voice acting, it's you with a headset and the screen, and you're just you're in there alone. No doubt it would have been terrific if two of us, Kate and I, could have been there together and working off of each other, or some of the other actors, but it's just not done that way.
You say you're working alone, but are you looking at the animation as you're mouthing the words, or are you just going blind?
You're looking at the animation so that you get you have to, because well, I think there might be a couple of times. No, I think I was looking at the animation almost all the time. Yeah. There might have been a few times when they just said, say this and we'll dub it in later, like help or something like that, which
Right.
they can dub. Yeah.
Robert, can I
That's
ask
great.
you, because this is the big buzz, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a faction within the Star Trek fandom called the J-Seers. Shout out to the JC people. I don't know if
Never
you've
heard of it.
heard. Yeah, I'm sure you haven't.
Never heard of it.
They're a quiet bunch. They're meek. They hide in the shadows.
Yeah.
They're passive. But do you feel fully content with how the Chakotay Janeway relationship, professional or otherwise, played out in this season? Is this something that you had always wondered or wished for, or wished had been covered a little bit better in Voyager? And if so, do you feel satisfied with this?
Well, this was something that Brooke, especially, this relationship was very, very important to him, and he spent a lot of time on it and trying to. They all did, all the writers. So it was an acknowledgement of all of the JCers out there, and there are a lot of them out there. I fully expected for Prodigy to go 3, 4, 5 years, just because I knew it was that good. And so the way it ended, our relationship, the JC relationship ended after season 2, I thought was a beautiful lead up to something that could have been really even more beautiful in the coming seasons, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. But I think that what was beautifully established was a respect and a love that could be a platonic love, or it could be a romantic love. But even at this point between the two series, they haven't really had a chance to explore a personal relationship in a way that where you can really give it time. The writers can take 2 or 3 or 4 episodes and explore maybe a marriage at the end of it, at the end of season 7 of Prodigy, or explore the relationship in a very the intimacy, which doesn't have to be sexual, but just the attraction that they had for each other, at least, on the very least, an intellectual attraction. But it was, of course, it was much more than that. It just hasn't had at the end of season 2, the relationship grew stronger, and something beautiful could happen in 3, 4, and 5, and on. But I don't know if that will ever get a chance if that'll ever be given a chance, because the nature of the business. But I hope so. I hope they will revive this for a few more seasons.
Well, if everybody goes out there and watches the episodes like we're doing, and supports the show, then it'll get the eyeballs that it needs to keep it on air. And I do think it's a beautiful show. I was watching it just thinking how great the animation was, because it's stylized in a way that I believe is really, soft on the eyes. It's just really nice and beautifully done. Even when they were on the planet surface looking for you, there was the way the sand was sinking in, looking like a quicksand kind of effect. But
Yeah.
I was like, wow, the animation has gone a long way since I was watching He-Man and G.I. Joe.
Hey,
I can
those
actually
shows
see
still stand
details
up
now.
today.
They do, because of the actors are great too, and they took it over the top. But the graphics were very low-fi compared to what I'm seeing now, with the special effects, with the visual. It's just amazing how great it looks.
I agree. I was watching, when I would watch it, I would forget that I'm watching animation. It
Yeah,
just,
it's like Avatar, almost like you're watching Avatar. It feels like at some point I'm just in the story.
yeah.
And I also want to give a big shout out to the star of this show, the other star of the show. Is it Brent Gray is his name?
Brett Gray, yeah. Dow.
Brett Gray. He's just fantastic as a curious kid who's finding himself, and
Yeah,
as
I
really the guy who's trying to be the leader of the show, as a young captain in training, essentially. I really love watching his journey, as well as the crew around them. It's so well done. Kudos to the Hageman brothers, who have a track record of making quality animated shows. So
absolutely.
this is just
I
right
thought it
there
was
with
great.
it.
I thought it was great casting all the way around.
Yeah.
Those actors did such a great job. And one bad casting mistake could have ruined a lot of stuff. But no,
Yeah,
the
but they
cast.
worked around Picardo, so it was okay. They were able to bring him back in for redos, and right.
I see.
No,
I'm
he
gonna,
was
I see. I'm
amazing.
gonna have to
I
save this
love him.
show too.
There you go. Hey, Robert, so we touched on this a little bit a few minutes ago, but a part of the reason why we're doing these features and we're clumping all these episodes together rather than doing one is because Apparently the idea is that for Netflix to make a decision on whether they want to pick up another season, they make that decision that first month. So July is crucial. So we're powering through. We're trying to encourage everybody to watch this thing over and over again. I know there are a bunch of people in the live chat we don't have to convince. They're already watching it over and over again. But that's why we're doing this. And the hope is that the numbers soar. Netflix realizes what a prize it has, picks up to season 3, and we get 4, 5, 6, and all that. So the question is, Robert, if that were to happen, do you have any hopes or wishes for what you would like to be done for your character and otherwise in seasons 3 and beyond?
Yes, I mean, like I'm not like George Takei, who's a great guy, but I was so gratified that they made me an admiral. I had my own ship. I don't get that exact. I don't go. It's a job for me. It's not. I know it's not real. Even though I was made a captain, I know I'm not a captain. And
Well, I would beg to differ with that. Actually, I think Prodigy is officially canon material. So what I
no,
see in Prodigy, I believe, is part of the Star Trek canon. So I would say yes, you are now officially a captain in my mind. That's why I
no,
mentioned
that's
Admiral Janeway. It
yeah.
was it just came natural to me, at this point.
No, that's true. That's true. I was making a distinction between real life and
Oh yeah,
some
yeah.
of the actors. Some of the actors. Garrett gets gets that way a little bit too. Why wasn't I an ensign? Why did I stay an ensign the whole time? Garrett, it's a serious.
Garrett, what?
If we do a movie, they might move you up to lieutenant. Settle down, settle down. So for what I would hope, and part of the fun for me is being surprised, and that's what was so great about Prodigy. It was surprising to me when I read that I was stranded, the episodes where I was stranded on the planet, and I just thought that's so great. That's so great. I just would have had the beard a little more straggly, a little more straggly.
Yeah.
That would be the only thing that but and then the mirror universe, what was it called? Cracked mirror.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, great stuff. And so I loved those surprises. I guess what I would look forward to if they pick it up for another several seasons is that they just allow Chakotay to have this natural evolution with some surprises here and there. And I thought that being stranded on the planet was really a great thing. It was 10 years. 10 years he was on the planet. So if Chakotay was, say, 42 when Voyager finished, he's in his 50s now, canon wise. He's in his 50s.
Yeah, and another thing to piggyback on what you're talking about in the idea of being stranded on this planet is they gave you a storyline that your number one, your guy, your right hand man was basically died on this planet. The
That's
bird
right.
character, a
Yeah.
Dreek.
Yeah.
And so you were living with that kind of a trauma too. And so here you are in solitude with a hologram Janeway to talk to, but in solitude essentially, and and living in a miserable state. You were in a funk, and so I thought they dealt with that as well. They kind of showed a little slice of this post traumatic stress that you had been dealing with from whatever experience you had. So
Yeah.
it was good to see you go through the healing of that and have these kids be a part of that level of encouragement to get you out of that funk. So yeah, I think it was well written. When things resonate as true or when they sound true, then that one it's believable. It's well written. It's a good script in front of you, but it
Yeah,
just it rings as true in your as you say it. And I
yeah,
think
that's
that's they do a great job in this.
Mhm.
absolutely, absolutely. They they didn't try to rewrite the characters, right? Um, they they took what Voyager gave them, and they both with Janeway and myself and Picardo, and they just I think evolved it very well.
Very well,
Yeah.
very well.
Robert, we only have you for a couple more minutes here, and we'd like to thank everybody that came in the live chat. That this thing is hopping. We'll say hello to everybody there in just a second. But one thing I cannot believe I almost forgot to mention this. The other thing that the internet was a buzz about is how perfectly accurately they designed Chakotay's arms. Those look exactly like your. That was unbelievable. The most ripped man in Star Trek. Here comes the gun show, everybody. Look at that. Free tickets to the gun show, everybody. But people did like that. Good stuff there.
Yeah, he is very handsome, Chakotay. Definitely did you right in the animation
Yeah.
department. I thought so. Kudos to those guys, and to your approving the right look. I thought that was excellent as well. You're also part of this Tribble episode, which is another historic moment because, Tribble episodes are in the lore of being memorable, and
Yeah.
DS9 had a chance to do one, and you now officially have a Tribble episode under your belt.
So lucky.
Giant tribbles.
Yes, giant Tribbles, which is even better. Yeah, I was kind of entertained by that. That was very entertaining for me. That's the other thing about this, Robert, is the pace of this show. It goes by so quickly because it's 20, 22, 24 minutes or whatever it is. It
Yeah.
it seems like it just gives you all of it that you need. They really just cut out all of the slower kind of moving stuff that you find in shows, and they just give you boom, action, 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 story, 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 story. That's another thing I really enjoy about the pace of this show.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. It's you don't you never it keeps your attention, like a good
Yes.
book, or it's just riveting, to for those 25 minutes or so. And I agree. I thought that each episode um had its uh, this it was propelled by the story and the characters, and it was so beautifully interwoven that I never found one false moment where it seemed like it was rushed, or something was put in there that didn't belong there. I thought it was all just flawless practically.
Yeah.
All
And how
right.
clever was that name, guys? A Triple Called Quest was the name of that particular episode.
Come on.
I was like, these guys could not resist. They had to do it. They had to do it.
So, everybody in the live chat, since we got to go in a minute here, in order for Robert to know that you're here, if your name isn't an obvious one based on your, YouTube handle or something, let us know your name if you want him to recognize you. And everybody know that our good buddy Dr. Mohammed Noor is going to be on the main viewer tomorrow live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time to talk about his work, his connection to Prodigy Season 2. Great dude. Everybody loves Dr. Mohammed Noor. So let's say thank you to a few people. People like Stephanie Berner, John Davis, Faith Howell, Walter Ian K, J.R. Poole, Dave Gregory, Melanie Jean Mayfield, Glenn Iverson, Kathy D, Chuck A, Dr. Anne Marie Siegel, Melissa H. Uh-oh, I'm losing them. Who else is here? They're all going to start jumping on now. Tara P, of course, we know. Linda Anderegg, Cassandra. We have somebody named Coffee Black, who I bet is a JCer. We have Ruby Sturm B, Stephanie Williams. We have Roxy, Christine, Fox Nomad, Robin, Kellen, all these people that you may know, Alex. Okay, so Tara P says JC forever, Janet Robinson, Bob D, Mary Ann, Megan Chowning, Fran Iverson, Christine Papst, Ryan Galloway out in Canada, Kara, Lucia out in Brazil. Anyway, and so on. Tons of people. They're all so excited that you're here. Robert, we really appreciate you
Gemma?
taking the time. Gemma was definitely here. She just hasn't commented
Oh, yeah.
recently. She's probably
Okay.
eating dinner or finding a better podcast. I don't know. But she, trust me, I saw her name and I know you know her, and she was definitely here. And now all our friends are gonna be like, Robert shouted you out and you missed it. But she's here. Anyway, Robert, we really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.
It's amazing
Yeah.
every time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Ryan, Cirroc, thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure to be with you.
You as well. Thank you for
Yeah.
teaching us a little bit about your experience, and beforehand some history lessons that you were giving us before we went on.
Yep.
So thank you.
Okay, let's do it again.
Yeah, I wanted to stick around and before we went live and just keep hearing you talk about history. I love that
Yeah.
stuff. And by the way, Gemma in the live chat jumped in and said, I'm here. That was a
Yeah,
close
all
one,
right,
Gemma.
all
That
right.
was a close one. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Remember, our final one will be next Monday, right after our TNG review. So that'll be right around 7:15 p.m. Pacific, 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. Our guest will be the Hageman brothers to close out
Whoa.
our features. Great guys. We love them. Lots of fun. So get your questions ready for them. That will be on next Monday. That'll be our last one. That's it for us. Thank you very much. Oh, wait. We got to say thanks to our other pals here. Let's pull these guys up. They really deserve it. Here they are. Their names are Homer Frizzell, Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, Eve England out in Wales, Yvette Blackman, Tom T.J. Jackson Bay out in Missouri, Titus Moeller, Dr. Mohammed Noor, Tierney C. Diekman, Anil O. Palat, Joe Balsarati, Mike Gu, Dr. Stephanie Baker, Carrie Schwent, Faith Howell, Edward Foltz, live from Tokyo, the Matt Boardman, Chris McGee, Justin Weir, Jake Barrett, Henry Unger, Allison Leach Hyde, Julie Manisfee, Jed Thompson, Dr. Susan V. Gruner, Glenn Iverson, Dave Gregory, Tim Baum, Chris Stern, the Roddenberries, that's the STLV house band, and of course, Jason Oken and Greg K. Wickstrom out in Hawaii. That's it for us. For myself, Cirroc Lofton, Aaron Eisenberg, Melissa Longo, thank you all for joining us. Really appreciate you. Tell Robert how much you loved him on Twitter or in the comments below. We really appreciate all of you hanging out. We'll see you next time. And until then, always remember the seventh rule.
Good night, everybody. Bye.